Join us and help us continue to support the many talented people of our community. Learn how to get your business highlighted on Lacrosse Local. Go to lacrosselocal.com and click on Advertise. The Frozen River Film Festival is taking place February 5th through 12th in Winona, Minnesota. Nearly 50 feature and short-form documentary films that will take you to the heart of current events, the forefront of social change, and distinct cultures in an increasingly global community. For tickets and more information, visit frff.org. Join us at the Lacrosse Winter Roots Festival Saturday, February 11th at the Lacrosse Center. We'll celebrate Wisconsin favorites in music, cuisine, local beer, and spirits. Grab tickets at lacrosselocal.com. We connected with a few members of Porky's Groove Machine. We chatted about classic covers, quirky originals, and their synchronized dance moves. We also get into the origins of the band, show favorites, costumes, and their energetic live shows. Check out Porky's Groove Machine at the 24th Annual Pearl Street Brewery Winter Ball, Saturday, February 18th. You can find more conversations, food reviews, weekend picks, live music, and events on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is Lacrosse Local.
You're feeling those deep winter blues, that SAD's affecting you.
My name is Marshall. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. Grew up in a pretty musical family. Both my parents were music teachers. My dad played trombone. My mom played flute. My brother played saxophone. So I had a smaller choice of instruments to pick from. So I ended up with trumpet. Mostly first memories of music were mostly in beginning band class. Then moved to Wisconsin for school, studied trumpet and psychology, and met all the Porky's crew. And yeah.
I don't even think I knew some of that. My name is Steffi. I'm originally from a suburb of Milwaukee, Cedarburg, Wisconsin. Some of my earliest memories of music are the Beatles and Elton John. When I was really little, I remember my family had this giant boombox, and I would plug in these big headphones into the boombox, and I would listen to Crocodile Rock, and I would run around the living room. And somewhere in my little brain, I made the connection. I really thought that Crocodile Rock was sung by the crocodile hunter, Steve Irwin. So anytime I listened to it, I was like, that is so cool. Steve Irwin has this awesome song about crocodiles. And the Beatles, too. I remember like going out on a picnic, and on the radio was All Together Now. I thought that was such a fun song when I was little. And then eventually my parents bought this dinky little Yamaha keyboard, and I would just make things up on it. I was always playing around with different sounds and different beats and different songs. Started taking piano lessons, and from there it grew into writing my own music, taking lessons that were more theory and songwriting. And I was lucky enough to have a teacher, Angie Mack, who really fostered my creativity and said, I don't care if you're 13 years old, if you write 10 songs, we're going to record an album, you're going to do the real thing. And from then on, it's been just like writing and recording and performing. I'm the newest addition to Porky's. I didn't join until I think July of 2019, but I was a fan of Porky's and I saw them a few times. I filled in as a special guest and then was invited into the band, and I had to pick a costume. So it's been a fun journey to get to where I am now.
So, I mean, speaking of that, I'm sure you've had maybe a rotating cast of characters in the band. And, you know, I've seen you guys play a number of times during Mile of Music on Appleton. So I feel like I've seen you pre-COVID a couple of times here in La Crosse too with Midwest Music. Can you kind of run us through the timeline from like how it all got started to now? I think you guys are based out of Minneapolis, right?
The band started at Lawrence University in Appleton. Started in, I think, 2011. I wasn't a founding member. We still have a couple of founding members, Hot Dog Trombone and Squid. We sometimes play with our conga player who dresses up as a banana He was
Uh,
also, I think, a founding member. So 2011, mostly playing parties and house shows around Appleton, just getting sweaty in basements was definitely how it all started, and just playing fun music to dance to and have a good time to. I joined the band in 2014, and we recorded our first album in the was called the Jazz Room at Lawrence, with the help of Larry Darling, who was working at Lawrence. And so then started to play a little bit more around Appleton. And then once we all graduated, which was most of us in 2015, we started playing more around Wisconsin, trying to do more touring. I remember our first tour that I think we broke even on, which was like a miracle, was like Iowa City, and
Yeah.
essentially playing to like four people in a bar.
uh,
And we were dressing up and playing weird, goofy funk music, and we were like, nobody's gonna want to listen to us. But everywhere we went, even those four people usually would love us. And so we were like, oh, maybe we should do more of this. And so we started doing some more serious touring. Some of the bigger, longer tours, we would do like 2 weeks out to like New York City, because our conga player lived out in New York City, so we had a place to stay. So that got us through Chicago, down New Orleans, DC, New York City. Yeah, realized that for a good couple of years, a bunch of people lived in different states. And so we would like fly in or travel in the day of a show and just like show up and play without rehearsing for months. Realized that wasn't super sustainable as a band, as a business. And so then we were like, we should move somewhere. It's either Chicago or the Twin Cities. Most of us didn't want to live in Chicago. So Twin Cities it was. And we all actually moved as a band, like pretty much at the same time, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we've been based out of the Twin Cities ever since. Still doing a lot of traveling to Wisconsin. Not so much to other parts of the US, just because it's expensive, and a lot of us have, real jobs now. That's sort of the timeline for Porky's.
you named off some of the band members. I don't know if you want to hit on a few other ones, but where did like the influence to like take on like the alter egos? I think of Parliament or like Flaming
Mhm.
Lips,
Mhm.
or Prince's band. Is it directly from those sort of influences, or just to be weird and fun?
I mean, yes, all of it. I mean, we definitely Parliament was definitely I think, especially for me, a huge influence. I think all of us were influenced by Parliament and George Clinton. I think the costumes really started with Halloween shows in college, where we would just like dress up. We would do there's a handful of times, actually we still do it, we pick a theme and then the band dresses up as a theme. So there was one year we were all Nuclear's, the different Nuclear's beers. So Spotted Cow and was nearly naked and stuff like that. And so then I think the costumes, I don't know, people responded to it, thought it was funny. People would ask us about it, so it kind of would get people more engaged with us. And found that at normal shows, people still liked the costumes and thought it was fun. So it kind of slowly morphed into alter egos. Before we just have a big bag of dirty costumes that we would pick from.
Well, we still have a big bag
We-
of dirty costumes in the
we-
back of my car, actually.
It's awesome.
And so then it sort of morphed into more of the alter egos, like Hot Dog Trombone and Squid and Power Ranger. And what was your experience with the costume stuff coming in a little bit later?
Man, well, not to play the victim here, but I really think I got the short end of the stick, because here's this already like 7-8 piece band, and there's all this lore with the costumes and everybody's characters, and I thought, what can I be that is instantly recognizable, but is, we already have some food in the band, we already have a couple creatures, we have a squid, we have a unicorn, we have a red Power Ranger, we have a banana, we have all this stuff. And I narrowed it down in my brain to two things, either a robot or an alien. And I really thought about the logistics of a robot costume. It could be instantly recognizable, but thinking about how much dancing we do on stage and how I'm really just a singer up on stage. I don't have a big instrument to carry around, but still, that means that I have to move around a lot. And thinking about wearing a giant box didn't really sound stage friendly. So it's funny, actually, when I really picked my costume, it was right around Halloween. So I just ran to the Halloween store and got some alien glasses and some antennas. And like most of the other people in the band, my costume has gone through some like evolutions of what it looks like. I mean, when I first started, before I was officially in the band, I actually think there's a music video where I'm a special guest vocalist and I'm credited as the sequined queen because I wore a shirt that was entirely made of sequins.
That's awesome.
So that was my first iteration, and now I'm just the Martian.
That's something I definitely remember. It's been pre-COVID, but just seeing your show and the energy, the dressing up. There's a couple frames in my mind that I can think back to the root note during Midwest music. So it's definitely, stays with you. So I've been, listening to a few of your releases off of Bandcamp over the last couple of days. What are some of the few kind of live favorites you guys like play? Like, what is one that's kind of in your pocket that you really enjoy?
I really love Spice Girls.
Oh, don't you recognize your grandma's Jasmine and Rosemary? They are the Spice Girls. Muy caliente. They're not here to give you sage advice. They came out to spice up the night. Spice Girls. Muy caliente. They're not here to make you beans and rice. They came out to spice up the night.
That was written by our trombone player, Matt, Hot Dog Trombone, and it is about grandmas going out on the town and living their life, and we call them the Spice Girls. It's like this posse of grandmas. And I love that song not only because it makes me think of my own grandma. She lived to be 95 years old. She was a firecracker till the day she died. She was such a character. But we also have this amazing rap that our tenor saxophone player gets to perform. She literally wrote a rap about her own grandma. It's such a fun song, and at the very end I get to just show off in the most obnoxious way, which is something I love to do. So that's definitely my live favorite.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I think just musically, I love Sticklers for Specificity.
Language is full of ambiguity, but clear communication is essential to efficiency. So we try to keep our conversations groomed, not leaving too much space for linguistic wiggle.
Musically, that one's super fun for me to play. I think it's really interesting. I think in terms of like just fun and getting the audience into it, I also love SAD, written by Shasta. That just seems to get the people's juices flowing.
Yeah.
It gets people up, the energy. I feel like everybody can relate to, especially right now, the cold and feeling down and just needing to move a little bit and get out some energy. And yeah, the end always gets me. Always a good time
Yeah,
at the
there's
end.
a few key changes. There's
Yeah.
a little like grunge guitar riff. It's pretty fun. And Shasta just wails at the end, just
Yeah.
screams. It's so fun.
You guys are going to be playing the 24th annual Pearl Street Brewery Winter Ball Saturday, February 18th. So I'm sure people are going to be wanting to finally get out of their houses a little bit because it's kind of close to
Yes.
almost spring.
Yeah.
I think we already talked about it, but is there any more you could kind of tell about the live shows? What should people expect? Put on their dancing shoes, just ready to rock, or what?
Dancing shoes is a requirement.
Yeah.
How to describe a Porky show? Energy, fun. I mean, we definitely try to bring the energy. I know I'm always sweating. The most I've ever sweat within a month is at a Porky show on stage.
Yeah.
At least for me, it's just fun. We just try to get the audience having fun. And I think what I've had a conversation a few times about Porkies and the crowd and how we interact with the crowd. And I think with the costumes and the fun and silly music, it's almost impossible to think about anything else other than how ridiculous this music is and the show is, because
For sure.
all of us dressed up in our costumes and just like screaming in your face and dancing at you. I think it really helps you just be in the moment and forget about what's going on in the world, which I think is a really important thing. And it's hard to get sometimes. We try to make people laugh, whether it's with us or at us. It doesn't really matter. As long as people are laughing and having a good time, that's really our main goal, and playing some fun music.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just fun and silliness and blowing off steam and getting the audience involved is one of my favorite parts of what we do, whether it's dance moves or singing along or making things up with the audience. It's just really fun to exchange that kind of energy with everybody who's there. It really makes it feel like every show is different because of that. The crowd can really make a show what it is.
And we've been doing this new thing recently where we write a song on stage during the show based off of audience suggestions about what we should write a song about.
Nice.
So what were some of the ones? I can't remember now some of the songs we've written. So.
The very first one was, I think we were in Stevens Point actually, and we just got this suggestion about pumping a septic system.
Yeah.
It always ended up being about bathroom or butts or something. And this one was about pumping the septic system. There was one here in Minneapolis, Calamari Wrestler just did one where it was a pickle race. So kind of like the brewers do sausage races. We were narrating a pickle race.
Yeah. So it's not always, the best music, but it's fun. It makes me laugh. Yeah.
The creative workshop.
Yeah.
So is there anything, exciting coming down the line for you guys? New music or new album or video or?
I don't think we really have any new music coming out. Some of our members have been doing different things. So trying and recovering from all the COVID stuff and just trying to get back into playing some more shows and get the creative juices flowing a little bit.
Just one album. What are you guys listening to right now? Each one of you. Is there anything that's in the car? I have a CD player, if you can believe it, but
nice. Yeah,
actually.
You go
for
ahead,
me,
Marshall.
I went to the When We Were Young music festival in Vegas. That was all the
old school.
Yeah, emo stuff. So I've been on a huge Paramore kick right now, which, growing up with Paramore, some of their new stuff is very different, but I like it. It's kind of like the poppy, funky stuff with a little bit of harder stuff in there. So that's actually what I've been listening to a lot to.
I've been listening to a lot of Christmas music because I've played a couple weekends of a Christmas festival around here. So thankfully I'm done with that and I can actually listen to the normal music. I guess anytime it gets really cold and snowy, I always revisit Bon Iver and Fleet Foxes. I really like mellow, cozy music. And then also as of last night, I just kind of rediscovered Ben Folds. I used to love Ben Folds when I was like in my early teens, and I really can't stop listening to Way to Normal, specifically his song with Regina Spektor and his song Effington. So I love both of those songs.
Sweet. If people want to follow along, what are you most active on? Or should they just go to the website? Where should people follow along with you guys?
Probably
Website's
Facebook
good.
and Instagram.
Yeah. It's Facebook for sure. I think that's where we interact the most, Facebook and Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. We got a bunch of live shows and silly music videos on YouTube too, to get a sense of what Porky is about.
Definitely.
Sweet. Well, we're excited to see you playing at the Winter Ball Saturday, February 18th, which is my birthday. So I'll be there out
nice.
front and hopefully healthy and drunk.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Exactly.
It'll be a party.
Lacrosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at Lacrosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com, and you can subscribe to the Lacrosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.